Hello. Long time no see, I guess. It's been a while since I made a video, but I've been drawn out of hiding by Zthustra, who has tagged me for a 5 facts video. I've never been tagged before, so it's kind of exciting. If you haven't seen Zthustra's videos, he does sort of very detailed, thorough treatments of a whole range of topics, so it might be worth checking out if it sounds interesting to you. Anyway, so my 5 facts. It took me a while to think of 5 things to say here, but here we go. Number 1. When I was 17, I became addicted to crystal meth, and I spent some years as a pretty serious meth addict. I would say I was homeless for a lot of the time, but sort of like hyperbole, because I mean, I was selling meth a lot at the time, and part of the time I was actually manufacturing meth or involved in that, and so I had plenty of places I could stay, plenty of houses I could sleep at, though certainly none of them were mine, so you could say I was homeless, I don't know. But I was pretty deeply involved in that for a long time. Now I've been clean for almost 5 years. My last arrest on criminal charges is back before I turned 21, actually, so it's been a while. But yeah, I've been to jail several times because of this. Yeah, so there you have it. I'm actually involved in a recovery forum. I'm an administrator on a recovery forum, looking to help other people who are looking for recovery, who are still using, or people who are looking for support, who have quit. We also try and help loved ones of addicts better understand sort of what's going on and how to respond to this sort of alien situation to them. When I first, and I should say also, what's interesting is my time addicted, I learned a lot from close observation of people about sort of the effects that chemical states have on our thinking and our feelings and everything else. And it's not just about drugs either, it's all of our natural hormones and biochemistry and everything else. It's incredible to really see up close how much a person's personality and identity can really be different based on their particular chemistry at a given time, whether it be because of using drugs, or if it's just from lack of sleep, or if it's because of they've eaten more recently or less recently, or hormones or whatever. It's amazing to me to see how this sort of, we always think of identity as a sort of unchanging kernel inside of us that sort of defines who we are, but all my observations tell me otherwise. And so when I got clean and I went back to school, I found I wanted to go into biochemistry because I wanted to do drug design eventually, because the sort of link between sort of the essence of who we are and the biochemistry involved in it and how we can manipulate these things, it fascinates me. It's incredible stuff, and I was really alerted to this both during my time using and observing other people who were using, and also I spent a lot of time sort of studying addiction and that sort of thing afterward, trying to understand my own behavior and my own choices during that time. So anyway, that's kind of a long fact, but sort of covers a lot of the weird little facts that I could throw out there, like I've been to jail several times or whatever. So I figured I'd sort of bundle it all up into one and say, yeah, so I spent several years addicted to crystal meth when I was younger, and now I'm clean. Fact number 2, my favorite author is C.J.Cherryh. She writes science fiction. For some reason, not very many people have heard of her. She's won a couple Hugo Awards for books she's written. She's written a huge number of books. This is my favorite book by her, C.J.Cherryh. The name of it. This is actually a trilogy in one. I think really good science fiction creates societies that we can only sort of imagine. It creates environments, and then it tries to sort of have ideas about how these environments would then affect society, how these new socializations would affect the psychology of the people in the society. And in many ways, I think it really goes into some questions about, you know, what makes us human, what is human, how malleable are these things like our consciousness and our personality and all these things. I think that's what really good science fiction does, and I think she does an excellent job with it. She has some really interesting ideas, and I absolutely love her book. She is kind of a difficult author, I think, and maybe that's why fewer people have read some of her stuff, but I absolutely adore it. It is fantastic. And I read way too much when it comes to novels, I think. So there's my second fact. My favorite author, C.J.Cherryh. My third fact is that, and this may not be interesting to other people, but I think it's kind of interesting because at this point in school, I can't really imagine not being a science major, but once upon a time, I wanted to be an attorney. Specifically, I wanted to be a defense attorney. The idea of constantly getting new cases, sort of absorbing the details of them and creating sort of a cogent argument based on the facts or the details, or creating, you know, an emotional thrust for to the jury or whatever it is to sort of win the case. It seemed like an area where I could really see myself doing it for the rest of my life. It seems like really interesting work. Now I don't have to choose between being an attorney or a biochemist because, well, it's not actually legal for somebody with my particular criminal background to practice law. So it's been made easy for me, that choice. Fact number 4. I had this really annoying tic or muscular convulsion. I sort of say or muscular convulsion because it doesn't really fit the diagnosis of a tic in a lot of ways. I saw a neurologist about it for a long time, or not for a long time, but several times. They couldn't really figure out what the hell's wrong with me. They could tell that it wasn't tiny strokes or tiny seizures, so I shouldn't suddenly keel over and die, or at least not any more likely to do that than anyone else. But when it happens, what happens is it makes it so I can't move my jaw or my tongue or sort of my upper throat. It's really annoying if I happen to be like eating food or drinking at the time, and I suddenly am trying to focus on not drowning because I can't control my swallowing. So usually I can keep my lips together enough that I don't just drool all over the place, which is, I guess, a blessing. It's sort of sapped my confidence a little bit when it comes to public speaking and giving technical presentations, that sort of thing. But you know, I still do it. Still got to do it. It's you know, the kind of work I do. So there you have it. You know, I mean, things could be a lot worse. So it's kind of a small fact. I kind of just ignore it. There have been several times I've been making YouTube videos where I've thrown them out and started over because it happened midway through or like toward the end or whatever, and I had to start over because it lasts like 10 or 15, sometimes 20 seconds. So that's sort of the period of time where I am unable to speak. Anyway, so that's fact number 4. I had this weird problem. Fact number 5. I started making YouTube videos because I saw a YouTube video that just pissed me off so much that I had to make a response to it. It was made by this guy who sells basically snake oil bullshit product as a sort of natural cure. And his video was basically fear-mongering, saying, hey, look, this drug company and CDC are, you know, colluding to make people afraid of this new H1N1 flu, and then they're going to use that fear to sell their vaccine, which was painfully ironic to me since he was fear-mongering through this to sell his product, which was absolute bullshit. And few things will piss me off more than somebody trying to prey on other people's ignorance about things like chemistry or whatever in a case where it can really do them harm. Telling someone you have a cure when you're basically just selling them water is unconscionable. And having argued with several people in his comments, I was like, fuck it, I have to do this. I literally got up from my computer, walked out, bought a camera, came back, and made a video response to it. So that is why I started making videos on YouTube, because I felt that there was stupid out there that had to be corrected. Since then, I've sort of found that there's not a lot of way to correct these things, because they just won't accept responses to their videos or whatever. Anyway, so I think this is getting long, so I'm going to have to wrap it up. That's 5 facts. And hopefully I'll make another video again relatively soon, unlike how long it's been between the last one and this one.